All right, so that is the little lead solo thing, you want to call it, that we're going to be learning today. This actually comes from a pickup comparison video I did several years back on my Les Paul. I played this. I've had multiple requests to do a lesson and tabs for it, so I figure it's probably about time that I did. Also, in the description down below, there's a link to the tabs and the backing track for this. So if you want to go grab that real quick and come back and follow, or just grab it later, either way. But if you want to get the tab and the backing track, that link is in the description down below. And one other thing, let me know if this left-handed thing messes you up. If it does, I'll flip future lesson videos around. Me personally, being left-handed, again, I like being next to a right-handed person because our necks are mirrored and right there. So I think it's easier. Maybe you don't. So just let me know in the comments down below. Now, one thing I'm hoping that you get out of this isn't necessarily to learn this note for note. I mean, if that's what you want to do and that's the goal, that is perfectly fine, because I like doing that stuff too. But I'm hoping as you learn it note for note, you start picking up on some concepts that I do over and over again in this. It's a lot of repetitive stuff. We're going to walk through a couple of those things real quick before we dive in, because it's going to make it faster and easier for you to learn. We are in the key of A major right here. So we're going to be using a lot of notes from this A major chord, as well as we're going to be using this A major chord. But when we get up to here with this one, we're just using the 3 highest strings. We're also going to be using an E chord, specifically an E7 chord. So it's just like your normal E chord, except we're adding this note and this note, which are the same notes, just different octaves. And that's what it gives that E7 sound. Those are the only 2 chords of this entire song, if you want to call it that. A couple of things you're going to notice as we walk through this is, again, we're using a lot of notes from the chords, but also we have our A major chord. And we're not going to get into a lot of theory, but we have our root, our major third, and our fifth. That makes our major chord. We're going to be doing a lot of the flat 3 into the major third walk kind of stuff. So here's our major third, which is on the 4th fret of the A string. The flat third will be the 3rd fret of the A string. So we're going to walk up, and you're going to see that a ton. So you're going to see the same thing when we move to the E major chord. So it's just shifted to our E string instead. So we're going to see root note, open E, major third, or the 3rd of the chord is 4th fret again, but now on the E string. 5th of the chord is again on the 2nd fret, but of the A string now. So that's our major chord. There's the flat 3 of the E major chord. So we're going to do that a lot, the flat 3 to the major third. So you're going to see that a lot. All right, so that's it for all that stuff. Let's dive into actually learning this note for note. All right, so the first section we're going to tackle is this opening A major chord section. So it's going to sound like this. So all we're doing is doing an open A note right there, open A string, so A note. Then we're hitting these 2 strings. That's our G and B string on the 2nd fret. Now we have our flat 3 to major third walk on the A major chord. All right, and then we hit these 2 strings again twice. And then we have our open A string again. And then we have the G and B strings on the 2nd fret again. Then we have our flat 3 to major 3 walk again. Then 2nd fret on the D string, 4th fret on the D string, 2nd fret on the G string, and then you're going to pull off to open. Like that. Let's run through it a couple times real slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we have the second part of the A chord section, and it sounds like this. Right, so we're starting off the same way, the open A string to this, the second fret G and B strings, and then that that flat 3 to major third walk again. And then those again, that B and G string, second fret. And after we hit that, now we're going to do 4th fret on that G and B string. And we're going to bend those slightly just to give a little attitude. And we're not really trying to bend it to anything in particular, just some attitude. Right? And then we're on 2 of the G string, and then 4 of the D string, then open on the D string. And when we do that, that open string, I did that there because we're in this position and we're about to switch to the E7. So that gives me a second to lift my hand up and rotate it around for that E7. We're coming from here to here. So it just gives me a second to do that. So that whole first A section sounds like this. Nice and slow. We'll play it twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so now we're ready for the E7 chord section, and it's actually very similar the way we play this as we did the A section. It's just going to be shifted a little bit. So it's going to sound like this. So open E string, just like we did the open A before, and then we're going to hit our B and G strings again. But this time, 1st fret on the G string and 3rd fret on the B string. That gives us that E7 sound. So again, we do open E to those. Now I use a ring finger, 3rd finger here, and place that on the 3rd fret of the E string, and that's going to be our flat 3 to major 3rd walk again, just on the E chord this time. And I slide it like that. And then 2 2nd fret on the A string, back to 4th fret on the E string, upstroke on the low E string, open, and that's this part. And now we do the E downstroke again for open E. We get these strings again. And now we do our ring finger on 3, flat 3 to major 3rd again, but this time it's twice as fast. And now we do 2nd fret on our A string, 4th fret A string, 2nd fret D string, and pull off to open D. Right? Again, that's very similar to what we just played on the A major part. So this whole E7 part, let's start from the beginning of that, and we'll just play it slowly twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. like that. And again, we're doing the pull off right there, and that's going to give me a second to readjust to come back over to our A section here, because we're moving back to the A chord. Now this next A section is going to allow us to start walking from this A shape up to this one. So that's where we're headed. So it's going to sound like this. So now we're going to break this down. We're going to start on our A chord, and again we're going to start on that flat 3 to major 3rd walk. Then 2-4 on our D string, the hammer-ons. Then 2-4 on the G string, hammer-on, and then pull off like that back to 2. So. Now when we get to this 2 right here, this is where we're going to slide up. And if you remember, we're right here on this A major chord. This is our 1, this is our 3, 5, 1. Our 3 right here is on the 6th fret of the G string. Well, we're right here right now, and we're going to slide up to the flat 3, which is going to be our 5th fret of the G string. And that's going to set us up for that flat 3 to major 3rd walk again. It's just up an octave. We've been doing it down here. We're just going to do it up here now. So it's the same thing, just higher. So again, we're right here. We've done pull off, and we're going to slide up to here. So. And we're play our 6th here on the G string. And then 5 on the B, hammer on to 7 on the B, and then we're going to do 5 up here on the E string, and then we're going to play 7 on the B string, and then pull off down to our 5. So that whole thing real slow looks like this. Okay, let's do it together twice, real slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so that's basically the whole first half of this whole section. So I'm going to start from the very beginning, and we're going to go nice and slow. And as always, with all these sections, feel free to hit rewind and go back with me or whatever. You can obviously loop it over and over again if you want to. So from the very beginning, nice and slow. 1, 2, 3, 4. Has some noisy strings in there. Sorry for that, but yeah, let's do it again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so now we're moving on to the second half of this little lead part. And the part we're going to be working on now sounds like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So we're going to break this down into 2 sections. The first section starts right here on the 7th fret of our B string and the 8th fret of our E string, and this is going to make it a tritone sound, which is kind of cool. I like to use that a lot, kind of just like almost like a jazz or something. You hear like a horn stab, like that kind of thing. So I usually bend it up just a hair and then fall off like that. All right, so now we're down here. So moving on, we're here on our 5th fret of our G string, and this is the flat 5 of the A chord, and we're gonna walk up to that major third. Same thing we've done before down here. That's just an octave up. And then we're gonna do 5 on our B string, hammer on to 7, and then we're gonna pick 7 again with a half step bend and releasing to the 5th fret, like that. And then we're gonna 6th fret of our G string, right there. So that little part, like that. So that whole little section, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now we're gonna walk our way back down here to we're still on the A chord, but we're gonna kind of walk our way back down to where we started this whole thing. And it's gonna sound like this. So all we're doing is we're gonna index finger on our 5th fret, and we're gonna slide down. Make sure we're stopping on that 4th fret for a second. All right, not that. And then once we get down here, we're gonna hit 4, and we're gonna bend up a half step, and release on to 2, right? And then 4th fret D string, and then open on our D string. And that's gonna set us up for that E7 chord again, like we did at the very beginning. That's where we're headed towards next. So that little section. Right, and those bends are really, we're not worried again about hitting exact tones and half steps and full steps or whatever. I basically just worry about, it's all about attitudes, like, all right, that kind of thing. So let's play through that whole section real quick, twice real slow. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. One, 2, 3, 4, 1. Alright, so now we're going to be finishing this out, and we're on our E chord, headed to our final A chord, and this section sounds like this. So you may have noticed that that E section is exactly what we've played before. So this should be kind of a refresher right here. So we're playing open E, and then our 1st fret G string, and our 3rd fret B string, like that. Then we're using our ring finger to slide from our 3rd fret E string, which is our flat 3, up to the 4th fret. On that was our major 3rd. Then 2nd fret here on our A string, and then 4th fret again on our E string, open E, and then we're gonna kind of repeat that, open E again, and then those two again, 1st fret G string, 3rd fret B string. Ring finger sliding flat 3 to major 3 again, but twice as fast this time. Then 2nd fret on our A string, hammer on to our 4th fret on our A string, and then 2nd fret, and then pull off on our D string. So. Exactly what we did last time. Now we're moving back to our A chord, and so we're going to be doing this flat 3 to major 3, so 3rd fret on our A string to 4th fret on our A string, then 2nd fret D string, 4th fret D string, hammer on. 2nd fret of our G string, 4th fret, hammer on, pull off to 2 again, and then we're gonna hit this 4, bend up, kind of let it go. It's a half step-ish. Then 5th fret on our B string, and then we're gonna kind of bend and fall back on that 4th again on the G string, like that. And then 2nd fret on our G string, so like that. And then 2nd fret D string, hammer on to 4 on our D string, pull off back to 2 on our D string, and then just play a nice A major chord at the end. So that last little section. On this bend right here, it's very much a lot of times in country, you'll bend this up to like kind of do a pedal steel kind of thing. We're kind of just sort of doing that. It's got a little more attitude to it. And as far as the end, technically we're ending on an A major chord. You can take this right here and bend it up. Something like that. Another option is to end it on like an A7. You know, just a couple different options there. Just depending on what you feel like, what sounds good, all that kind of stuff. So, all right, so that's kind of the whole entire solo. Now we're gonna go through this whole thing nice and slow twice. So you can use this section to kind of walk through with me if you want. But don't forget, in the description down below, there's a link where you can grab the full entire tab for this, and plus backing tracks. So we've got a regular speed and a half speed, so you can play exactly this, or if you want to take some of the principles you've learned from this and apply it and kind of noodle around and try your own thing, that's perfectly great as well. I do that stuff all the time. So those are in the link in the description down below. And of course, don't forget to check out my Instagram, where I post things about guitar, home studio recording, songwriting, and all that as well. Oh, and I almost forgot one more time. Let me know if this left-handed thing messes you up. I know almost everybody is going to be right-handed. For me, when I'm doing lessons with somebody right-handed, I find it easier because our necks, again, are mirrored right next to each other. But if this is hard on YouTube or whatever, let me know, and I'll flip lessons around and all that kind of stuff. I may even upload this one again, flipped around, if I get enough comments. So let me know in the comments down below if you prefer the right-handed version. All right, so enough of that. Let's go ahead and walk through this nice and slow twice. 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. right, so that wraps that up. Hopefully all this was helpful. You're able to learn some things, get some stuff from this. Thank you so much for watching. There's probably some other videos showing up here-ish you can check out, and we'll see you next time.